I want you to take a look at some photos and realize some men or women will be attractive to this lady in the photo here. She looks very nice. Some people won't. Some people will be attracted to this lady. Some women will be attracted to this guy. Some women will be attracted to this guy. And some women will be attracted to this guy. And it's amazing the diversity that there is in what people will find attractive, which is great, because if every single person, every single woman in the world thought Brad Pitt was the only guy for them, well, there's only one Brad Pitt. Everybody would be disappointed. So there are tremendous variations in what people do find attractive.
Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday, and we take questions and answers from the audience, some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions, and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you, enjoy.
The title that I've attributed to this presentation called Laws of Attraction. If you go online, you'll find something else that's called Laws of Attraction. Also, it's interesting metaphysical sort of theory, sort of karma related. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think that this applies extremely well here. Why are two people attracted to each other? And so I couldn't think of a better title than Laws of Attraction. So here it is. The first thing I'd like you all to do is just think about a person, one person in your life to whom you have an attraction. And it could be your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or somebody that even you've never talked to. And just think about that person for a few seconds and just try to identify what is it about them that you find attractive. What are the characteristics that make you find this person that you've chosen in your mind attractive to you? So everybody should have somebody in mind. Maybe it's even Brad Pitt or Jennifer Aniston or whoever it might be. But think about that person and, well, why are you attracted to them? I mean, there's 7 billion people in the world or more. Why would you choose that person to have an attraction? Or did you choose that person to have an attraction? It's just something that you have no control over.
I think it depends on different people. With my experience, I think that I like the guys who are quite smart and who are integrated. And honestly, efficient communication, of course, the appearance looks fine, it's also very important. So some features I really pay my attention a lot, especially their mind and their psychologic, maybe actually there are many features, but depends on specific people I met. That's my point to make.
Excellent, thank you very much. So their intelligence, their appearance, equally, sounds almost like equally important. Very good. Anyone else? I mean, we all have attractions, right? So
I can share.
please.
I'm attracted to persons who have some characteristic that I want to achieve, that I want to have. So this is why I like them.
Very good. That's sort of aspirational, something they have that you would like to achieve. Very good.
Yes.
All right, Mike, I'll share. Hey, nose, when it comes to the physical things, nose is important to me. I was with a female the other week, and I'm like, why do I not find this girl attractive, but I find this one attractive? And it was the nose. And when I was seeing my mother used to have like a ski ramp on the nose. She was nicknamed. And so I actually find this trait right here appealing for some strange reason. I don't know why, my mother.
Well, that's fantastic answer. Very interesting, because it talks about how all of us have our own individual beliefs. They come from, totally different worlds. And it also means, Adrian, I'm sure you wouldn't be very attracted to me because I have a very large nose. So that's good news. So I want to thank all of you for your answers. And now I'm going to move on to the remainder of the presentation here. So what I would like to do today is give you a little understanding about, attraction from a perspective of, what the frustration is actually that some people experience sometimes. So did you ever find another person attractive, but they didn't feel the same about you? So this is a real frustration that people will have, and sometimes it will play significantly into their psyche, their own feelings of adequacy or inadequacy, because somebody else doesn't find you attractive. And when you're younger and you don't have an explanation for this, you may feel something's wrong with you. If you don't understand that everybody finds something different attractive. People will say in relationships, or when they know people, I just want to be friends. The other person wants to be more than friends. There's obviously a difference in the level of attraction between the two. One is attractive, one is not attractive. And so that person who doesn't receive the attraction may feel very badly about themselves, but this is just the way life is. And then the other question would be, of course, the converse. If you find another person attractive, they don't feel the same about you. You find them attractive. They don't find you attractive. You find them attractive. They don't find you attractive. And then, of course, what we really want to do, the ultimate goal is to take all the information that we have, put it together, and figure out a way that we can, one, make ourselves more attractive to other people. And number two, at least be able to understand why other people may not find us attractive and be able to deal with our feelings in a way that we're not so hurt. So my story is this. I grew up in New Jersey, which is in the United States. It's a small state on the East Coast of the US. This is a highway which is very, very close to where I grew up. This is my junior high school called Schuyler Colfax Junior High School. And you will see this, the large roof area off a little bit to the right as you look at it. That's where our gymnasium was. And this is where I went to junior high school. So in the US, we have a tradition, and I know this tradition is in other places in the world also, is that we have at the end of the year a prom. It's a dance. And during that dance, men are supposed to ask women if they would like to go. Or I should say, boys ask girls, because we're really young at that age and not very knowledgeable. So it was time for the prom in junior high school. I didn't know what to do. So I asked my sister. This is my sister. She was my advisor. So I asked my sister, hey, the prom is coming up. What should I do? And she said to me, well, just ask a girl to go. And I said, well, how do I do that? And she says, well, it's easy. Just ask her to go. And I said, really? All I need to do is ask somebody to go. They'll go with me. And she said, sure, you're such a likable kid. Everybody would want to go with you. I said, but I don't even know anyone who to ask. So she said, just think about it. Find somebody in your school, some girl in your school, By the way, I have to say girl, because this is junior high school, we're really young at that time. Just ask some girl to go to the dance. And I'm sure she'll say yes. That's what my sister said. So the next day I go to school and there's this girl, and I've never talked to her before, to be honest, I guess. I don't really recall, but I went up to her after class and I, in a very shy way, said to her, "Hi, would you be interested maybe in going to the dance with me?" And this girl looked at me and then she started to react with her face with a smile. And I thought, wow, this is cool. And that smile turned into a laugh. And then she started laughing in my face. And then she turned to all her friends and they started laughing in my face. And I have to tell you, this was a traumatic experience for me in junior high school. The first time I had ever talked to a woman about, dating. So I felt miserable. Take a look at this face, because there are men who obviously feel this way all the time when they're being rejected. And so when you're rejected, you don't really know what to do at a young age. I mean, I guess I was 13 years old, possibly 12, 13 years old. So what did I know? I mean, I thought it was just like magic, right? What is it that attracts people? I don't have it. Other people do. Other boys are asking girls to the dance and they're saying yes, and they're very popular. And I was, in my opinion, not very popular. And I just got the first effort I made in my entire life, I got laughed at, not just by the girl I asked, but all her friends in the classroom. Hugely embarrassing for me. Anyway, moving forward, I went to the University of Massachusetts, and not surprisingly, I guess, I studied psychology. And I think part of the reason was my curiosity about, things like, why are men attracted to women, women attracted to men, which is exactly the subject that we're talking about now. And if you look at that tall building towards the right side, you will see our library, which is 27-story building. And I actually did a lot of studying for for my psychology papers that I had to write to graduate from the university. It's a beautiful campus. And then after I got my psychology degree, I went to law school, the American University Washington College of Law. I became a lawyer. Sorry. I worked at the U.S. Wow. Sorry, Mike. I worked at the U.S. Department of Justice. I worked in the Republic of Palau, and I came to China in 2005. And you can see I'm a little bit younger back then. And I went around the country and I helped open up stores. And we had in Taizhou, we had a factory as well as other places. I started doing training here. I'm also an actor. You can see this is Hu Ge. I've performed with a lot of actors here in China. I'm very fortunate to have that opportunity. And then I teach MBA students like here at Tongji University, as well as Fortune 500 students, Fortune 500 mid-level managers. I'm also was with the American Chamber of Commerce here in Shanghai for 17 years. Here is a photo of us at the US Capitol, long before the riots there, visiting with the other AmCham members. And so now I'm going to talk about some key points for my discussion today. The first is, this is just meant to be inspirational. I could hardly cover this entire topic in just 90 minutes. But if it inspires you and you find some of these topics interesting, please do go online and do more research so you can satisfy yourselves about why people are attracted, why you might be attracted, because there's such great information for you to find for yourself. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt at any point. This is a huge topic of attraction. I am just focusing on opposite gender attraction. That's male, female, female, male attraction. There are many different types of attraction, and I'm not qualified to talk about those other types of attraction, but they're equally legitimate. It's just that I am not competent to speak about them. So we'll focus just on male-female attraction. You will find that applicability of the laws of attraction relates as much to business as it does to personal relationships. So if you find some skills that are useful, try them whenever you can. There will be a lot of generalizations. I mean, that's what studies are all about. 90% of the population. So I can say, well, 90% of the population feels a certain way. You may be in that other 10%. There's nothing wrong about that. And it doesn't mean I shouldn't talk about the generalizations. It just means that every statement that I will make, there will obviously be an exception to that rule or to that study. The other thing is that having graduated with a degree in psychology, I can tell you for sure that all the psychology studies and experiments have their limitations. You're doing a study in a situation usually which is not a real life situation. So you have to try to extrapolate information. It can be very helpful, but at the same time, they all have their limitations and they may not be applicable in all situations. And then finally, it's complicated, right? Human beings are very complicated individuals, and there's no way that anyone can 100% tell you exactly what you need to do, what you need to change, who you are, what your personality is like. Everybody is a unique individual. But with that said, it is still helpful to understand some sort of ground rules and understand ways to move in a positive direction forward. So, is it just about men being attracted to women and women being attracted to men? Sounds kind of superficial, yes? As much as it may sound a little bit superficial, there is a true life problem that we encounter. And if you listen to some commentators on the internet talking about the disaffected population that we have, especially due to COVID situation where people are spending a lot more time online, there in fact is a tremendous amount of significance in this topic. So there have been studies that show that people's outer appearance, the way they appear, will affect their self-esteem from a very, very young age. Children become well aware at just a few years of age, the perception of other people about whether they're attractive or not. We will never change this. People will always, throughout the history of humanity, be judging other people based on their appearance. And it has a very strong impact on their personalities. It has been shown that men are very sensitive about their masculinity. When they are rejected or feel threatened, they sometimes will either withdraw or become violent. In the United States, we see this quite a bit. It is incredible that we have so many mass shootings. And if you get to the bottom of those personalities and why they've done such horrendous things, you will see a lot of them have done that, they claim, because they've been rejected by women. they don't feel accepted. And so their personalities either withdraw and become violent, which is terrible. It's an awful situation. And so this is not just about, oh, do I look good for my date or things like that. These are really significant social issues that have an impact on our society. I'm just giving two examples of such sad, terrible situations. This guy in California went on a shooting spree, and he did it because he said he wanted to get retribution against all the women who had rejected him. In Toronto, there was an attack, again, stated by the attacker that he felt rejected by women. Men who feel that they're overlooked, invisible, disrespected, they blame women. That's not the right thing to do, but is there a way that we can help to improve the situation and solve this situation? And so my question to you, would people live happier lives if they better understood the laws of attraction? And would the world be a safer place if people better understood the laws of attraction? And from my knowledge and understanding, the answer is a resounding yes. Because people like myself, when I was in junior high school and I didn't understand and felt so humiliated the first time I asked a woman to a dance who said no, if I didn't have the support of my family and I didn't grow and I wasn't intelligent and curious, I could have fallen into, I guess, which a lot of other people have done, into this whole feeling of, you know, women hate me, I hate women, which is so unfortunate, but it's the reality of our world. So now I'm going to talk about some of the fundamentals of laws of attraction. And I'm going to hope that somebody will respond to my question is, this is a famous quote from William Shakespeare. I assume some of you have heard this before. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Is there somebody willing to tell me the meaning of this sentence from William Shakespeare? The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves.
Yeah,
It
hi,
means-
Mike.
Oh, please, yes.
Sorry, yeah, William here.
Thank you.
I'm British. I've heard this before. Excuse my thing. I'm suffering COVID at the moment, or the Omicron, rather. And say simply, it's you know, you can't blame other people. It's our own circumstance that we live through. It gives us our behavioural patterns that we have to generally overcome ourselves. But I put all this attraction down to frequency because that's my favorite subject, of course. So yeah, so you know, man up, boy, man up, Brutus. You know, you've only got yourself to blame, boy.
Okay, William, now let me ask you a question. Is it true that sometimes the fault is in our stars and not in ourselves?
In reality, if one wants to take that a shade further, if one looks at frequency in the similar, yes, indeed, there can be influences from the frequencies of the stars. But in reality, that may be an influencing factor, but the overriding factor is how we control those frequencies and ensure that we ourselves play the honourable person, whether it be male or female. That's my opinion. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there could be influences, but they're not strong influences if you have the strength of character to overcome them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. William giving his interpretation of William Shakespeare is absolutely perfect. Thank you. Okay, so what is in our stars? Or, in other words, the things that we can't control. So we can't control where we were born. We can't control our height. There's a lot of things that we can't control about who we are. And those things, let's be truthful, do affect a lot of issues relating to attractiveness, right? We know that if you are a certain height, you will be more attractive. Anyone, males, when they're up to 6'6", will be viewed as more attractive. However, if they're over 6'6", they'll be viewed as less attractive. People don't have control over that. And there's no surgery right now which is going to increase a person's height. Of course, you can wear high heels, which women do all the time, but we are stuck with that. That is in our stars. But as William has said, most everything else, we have some control or even total control, and we can change the people that we are. So thank you very much. We will look through this. You can think about what's controlled by the stars, what's controlled by ourselves, and how can we modify that. So one thing that's actually controlled by the stars is something called limerence. Does anyone know what limerence is? Anyone want to give it a shot? Limerence is something that exists for every single one of us in the entire world, throughout the history of the world. And it's something that most people don't understand. And if they did, it would change their worldview. Limerence is that feeling that we get when we first meet somebody. And it could just be within the first few minutes. It could be within a week. It could be within a month. It could be much longer. It's that exciting feeling that we want to see this person. We can't wait to see them. We're on the phone with them. We're sending them messages. Just inside us, we feel so excited. We feel romantically attracted to this person. And we just can't stop thinking about them. And there's a physiological reason for that. And it's called dopamine. There may be more chemicals than dopamine, but primarily it's dopamine that's in our brains. And it's making us go crazy. It's kind of like if we take a drug, alcohol or whatever drug you can think about, it affects you in a certain way. Also running. If you're a runner, you get this runner's high, that's also dopamine. And this is something over which we don't have control. You can't go for a run and decide, okay, I'm not going to have dopamine on this run. It just naturally, physiologically happens. The same thing when you're attracted to someone at the beginning, you have dopamine. However, everyone is different and that dopamine will change eventually. It's probably within a week or a month or 3 months is most common. 6 months, a year, but usually within a year, dopamine is now replaced by oxytocin. And oxytocin is more about social bonding. So if you expect that your relationship that has this great, amazing, warm, charming feeling that's romantic is going to last for an entire lifetime, it won't. And you'll be disappointed. And a lot of people are. And that's why more than half the population gets divorced, because it just doesn't work that way. That's why your romantic relationship will eventually move towards a different level. And that level is no longer the excitement. And this is why people are oftentimes cheating. I hate to say it, because there's that excitement, that dopamine. You want that back. You want that drug, that excitement. And so it's just not going to happen that way. People will need to shift the way they're thinking about their relationship. If they don't, they'll just be disappointed. And that's why we have this amazing situation where people who say they love each other so much and get married and spend all this money on a wedding, then will turn around and say, I hate you and I want a divorce. Okay. There's one of my favorite phrases talks about, and William mentioned this also, how we have an ability to control our circumstances. The mind is a place of its own, and you can make heaven of hell or hell of heaven. So wherever you are in the world, you can find things that are positive, or you can find things that are not positive. If you live somewhere and you think, oh, Shanghai, I don't like Shanghai anymore. It's this problem, whatever it is. And you move from Shanghai and you move to wherever it is, Singapore, the US, Europe. You have a certain personality. You're going to find an equal amount of things positive and an equal amount of things negative, because everything that we find attractive or fun or enjoyable is about what we put in our minds. And it's incredible the power and the strength of our thoughts. And why is this important to attraction? Because if we think that our relationship is one that gives us satisfaction and we can focus on the things that provide us satisfaction, we will in fact be more satisfied. If we want to be happy in life and we focus on the happy things versus the sad things, we will be happier in our lives. We can control this. So, why are people, now let's get to our subject. So why are people attracted to each other? Well, some of you mentioned earlier what those things were. I think only one person early on mentioned it was physical attraction, but honestly, every single one of you, every human being will, number one, look at another person and they will make a determination if they are attractive. Now, in the long run, as many of you said, it's about how another person treats you. And even initially, it's how that person treats you. So if you find the most attractive man or woman in the world, and you go up to them and you think, oh my God, they're beautiful, but they treat you very poorly, well, you'll not like that person. In fact, you'll feel very badly about them. But the first thing you'll notice about them, unless I guess you had a conversation on the phone without seeing their face, the first thing you're going to notice is their appearance. Okay, this is what we mentioned. But fundamentally, that doesn't answer the question. Yes, you find a person attractive, but why do you find them attractive? What is it? What physical features? Why do you find those physical features attractive? And there are two answers that I would like to give you. But first, I want you to take a look at some photos and realize some men or women will be attractive to this lady in the photo here. She looks very nice. Some people won't. Some people will be attracted to this lady. Some women will be attracted to this guy. Some women will be attracted to this guy. And some women will be attracted to this guy. And it's amazing the diversity that there is in what people will find attractive, which is great, because if every single person, every single woman in the world thought Brad Pitt was the only guy for them, well, there's only one Brad Pitt. Everybody would be disappointed. So there are tremendous variations in what people do find attractive, but they also follow a pattern. So why do people find others attractive? Well, if you go back historically, genetically, into our history, the reason that men and women will match with each other is for the purpose of producing offspring. But men and women will differ slightly. Both of them are looking for the ability, they're looking for characteristics in that other person that they think will help with offspring. Men are looking for a woman who has, you may always wonder, why is it that men sometimes like women who have a large girth up top or on the bottom? Because when men look at this type of woman, they may think in their brain, pre-programmed, that they are better at giving birth to healthy children. And that's why, in part, why men find women attractive, because they think that if they have children with those women, that the offspring will be healthy. And these women who have a large waist, who have a large chest, are more capable of being able to produce healthy children. And it's not like any guy thinks about that when he meets a woman. You would never hear a guy going up to a woman and say, hey, I think you'd be great at childbearing. I have an attraction to you. That doesn't happen. But in fact, that is partly what they're thinking. And women, when they're looking at men, they're thinking about, well, obviously, not are you going to have a healthy child? Can I have a healthy child with you? But they're definitely thinking, hey, can you take care of this child which I produce? And that's why it's not unusual that a woman might look at a successful man and see that he has possessions and say, hey, you're somebody who can take care of our child together so that we can raise a happy and healthy child. Now, if men and women didn't choose a spouse that they thought could give them a healthy child, and they didn't do that, then we would not have the human race. Because the human race exists because men and women have gotten together for many, many thousands of years and been able to populate the earth with healthy children. So this is one reason why men are attracted to women, women are attracted to men. Women because they want somebody who can take care of the kid, and men because they want to procreate with a woman who's going to give birth to a healthy child and be able to raise that child. The second reason is this. When a male mates with a female or female mates with a male, it's been shown in studies that this is very much based on a similarity to our parents. So without knowing this at all, right? Nobody goes, oh, I want to find somebody that looks like my mom or my dad to marry. Unconsciously, subconsciously, people are looking to find somebody who has, in whom they will have a romantic interest that actually fulfills their needs that they had when they were a child. They have those same needs as a child, even as an adult. And so they're looking for somebody who's like their mother or their father or both, so that they can fulfill those needs. So people will oftentimes fall in love with people who are very, very similar to their parents. Now, attraction, it's situational. So women were very attracted to this guy, George Washington, right, a couple hundred years ago. They aren't now. Different cultures have different styles and different attributes that they think are attractive. So there's a culture in which I think both in China and also in Myanmar, they have women. I actually visited them in Myanmar, where they have these long necks, and people find that attractive. Foot binding was something that at one point was very attractive. And then the other thing that's situational is that as people get older, their thoughts about what they find to be attractive changes. So, for example, when you're very young, you're going to look for a risk taker, right? Women who are very young will look for a guy like this, a guy who maybe has some scars, who has long hair, who is willing to go out and, fight for them. And they're looking for risk takers when they're young. But by the time women get older, and this is shown through studies, they're looking for somebody who is very, very stable and somebody who is going to support them and, of course, support their children. So our desires will change. What we find attractive over time will modify as we get older. Okay, and then everyone just has different tastes. Like I said, this is very complicated. Here we have two US presidents, completely different in their demeanor, and yet some people absolutely love the guy on the left. Some people absolutely love the guy on the right. They're both Americans. They both would have grown up in the same culture and the same location, and yet they find these two very, very different. It's just that each one will be found attractive by different people. Okay, so the fact is, we can generally not change what we find attractive. In fact, it's probably impossible. If you are attracted to a certain person, a certain style, that's just who you are. There's no way you can say, oh, if you happen to be attracted to women who have blonde hair, you can't tell yourself, I'm not going to be attracted to women with blonde hair anymore. It just is. It's a natural desire. And so we can't change these things about ourselves. However, we can all make ourselves more attractive to other people. And so there's really appearance, biology, and actions. And I'm now going to run through the specifics of a number of these areas, which I think will be helpful in understanding what other people find attractive, why they find it attractive, and how we can modify our behaviors or appearance. So first of all, clothing, very easily. Wearing certain clothing. Some people want to appear extremely young when they wear clothing, but it may not fit their appearance. Some people may wear certain clothing which doesn't fit their body type. There are experts out there that can talk about what clothing fits. Clothing has a tremendous impact on how other people will view us. And even though it seems superficial, it's absolutely true that clothing will have a big impact. And it's one of the first things we see, because people don't, when they first meet you, see you naked, right? They see you with clothes on, and that has a tremendous impact. So the clothing that you choose will have an impact on how people initially find you attractive or not. The color red has been shown to be, for men, extremely attractive. And so women who wear red will immediately be noticed by men. But we can say this, that wearing red all the time is not necessarily what you want to show to other people. And you don't always have to wear complete red. You can wear a red scarf or something red in your hair. But red has a tremendous impact on men's minds, women also, but men, and they don't control that. That is a natural reaction. Nobody says, I want to be attracted to red. Wearing proper makeup is very important. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But wearing too much makeup will really kind of turn people off because it looks fake. And human beings are very capable of determining what they think is real and what they think is not real. Why do people find hair attractive? Well, they find hair important in being attractive because healthy hair means healthy human being. Again, if we go back to the idea that men are looking for women who can have healthy offspring, well, certainly I'm going to look for a woman psychologically, subconsciously, who's got good skin, who has good hair, who manages that hair well, because that person will be able to take care of a child. And if I'm a woman looking for a man, even if I'm looking for a man who's older, I still want a man who is well groomed. And so being well groomed is very, very important. Having good hair shows health, shows the ability to, again, produce healthy offspring and take care of that offspring. So if somebody sees another person like this, you can say this is superficial. You know, who cares? It's what's inside. But I mean, that's not the truth. The truth is we're all judging. And if we see somebody and we think that they're not healthy, we won't be attracted to them. Obviously, it changes when you get into a relationship, as I discussed before. Skin, as I mentioned, is important. Now, here's something that's interesting. Are beards attractive to women? Some woman, please tell me. Are beards attractive to you? Can some woman answer? Lisa, do you find beards attractive? Do you think men find beards attractive? Do you think women find men with beards attractive? Anyone?
I can share.
Please.
When I was younger, it didn't feel attractive, but now that I'm older, it kind of does.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, is it every beard or just some beards?
Yeah, I like when there's a lot of hair.
Really?
Like, yeah, but not too white, just like good organized.
So the gentleman in this picture, is it well organized?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answer. I appreciate that. And that's absolutely the correct answer in terms of statistically speaking, women will find not all beards attractive, but men who are well groomed with a beard, they will find them attractive. So thank you so much for sharing and falling within the parameters of our studies, which show that's exactly correct. I don't know if people are familiar with symmetry, but Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, of course, we don't have her here. If you go through this calculation of these triangles, you can see that the most attractive people fall within this parameter of symmetry. And there's a professor who has put all this information together. I'm showing it here so you can see. The symmetry in your face is important. Now you may say, okay, well what's the point of that? Again, the reason is we are looking for a mate that can help with offspring. If somebody's symmetry on their face is off, we may feel that they are not healthy. They are not healthy in order to produce children. It doesn't mean that we can't become attracted to somebody who doesn't have symmetry in their face. I mean, I obviously don't have symmetry. Almost nobody does. Here's three prime examples of, some of the most attractive, three most attractive gentlemen, or some of the most attractive gentlemen. And you can see they have symmetry. It doesn't mean that people don't love others. It just means it's one of those factors that people will immediately see, and they'll look at that symmetry and they'll find them attractive. Again, we're talking about the laws of attraction. Why are people attracted? Symmetry in their face. It applies equally to men and to women. And then this is fascinating. There are studies that are done that show how important scent is to other people. There have been some studies done to show all of us can produce some sort of, within our bodies, an ability to fight off certain diseases. And studies have shown that men and women are able to, just by being near another person and smelling that other person, know if they can fight off different diseases than they can. And so this gives them more opportunity for an offspring that's going to survive. So if we are both from the same location and we both have the same ability to fight off certain diseases, we only pass on a limited amount of capability to our offspring. So we would be looking for a partner who can give birth to an offspring that has some sort of complementary capabilities in terms of their genetic physiology, and that it is possible that human beings can tell this about another person without any sort of testing or without going to a hospital, just by being with them. And this will make them more attractive to us. So it's fascinating that the age of your parents when you are born will determine, generally speaking, whether you find people attractive at a certain age. So if your mother was very young when you were born and you're a male, you're always going to be looking for younger women. And if your mother was older when you were born, you will generally find women who are older more attractive. And so, you know, you hear these things about, oh, that guy, he's always looking for, you know, young girls, or, oh, always looking for older women or something. And this is something that people don't control. I mean, they don't make that decision again. This is something that happens. It's, you could say it's both a genetic and a physiological and a life experience that people have, which drives them into a certain mode of thinking about being attractive, and it's completely subconscious. So now we're going to talk about our ability to control our emotions and how we can show ourselves to be more attractive to others. This is a dachshund. It's a dog. You can see the dog's face. The dog has a long nose. I used to have a dog. I used to have a dachshund at this apartment here. And the dachshund would always have this sad look on their face. And the only way I knew that the dog was happy is because the dog's tail would start wagging. It would move very, very fast. And sometimes it'd even pee on the floor because it was so excited. And this is how I knew that the dog was happy, but not by looking at the dog's face, because unfortunately, these dogs always kind of look like they're unhappy. You can see. So the great thing is we're human beings. And as human beings, we have the ability to show happiness, sadness, or excitement, or interest, or listening. In fact, each one of us is an actor. I'm an actor, I get paid for it, but all of you are actors also. Whether you get paid for it or not, you have that capacity to show people your emotions. And this is where we have a tremendous ability to impact our relationships. So body language is absolutely critical to the way we communicate with other people. We can say words in a certain way that can make people feel, even if we really have a certain intention in mind, like I'm having a great day, but we say it like I'm having a great day. And everybody knows you're not really having a great day. So the way we use our voice, the way we use our body is critical in the way that we communicate. It's not just about the words. Words are important, but the way we use our body is critical. You've probably heard people say all your life, 60% of your communication is your body and 40% is words, or 80-20, or whatever it is. Sometimes it could be as much as 100. If I tell you, I'm having a great day, then you'll believe me. And if I say, I'm having a great day, you won't believe me. And it's because of my body language and my voice. The other thing that we can control is our posture. If we stand up straight, we look taller. We know that when people are taller, especially when women are looking at men, they will generally up to, as I said, 6 feet 6 inches tall, at least in the American culture. They will think of them as being more attractive. And all you need to do is straighten up your body, sit up straight. And sitting up straight also shows likely that you're more interested, that you're more healthy. So automatically, women will look at you if you're a man and you're standing up straight. And same thing for a man looking at a woman and think, oh, this person is healthy. And so subconsciously, again, they'll be thinking, wow, this person is capable of having healthy offspring. Anyone who's interested to know more, there's an exercise that you can do just by standing up against a wall. You push your back and you straighten up. And I have to say, it will be a tremendous impact on how attractive you are to other people, and not just women and men, men and women, but in a business sense. Like I said, all these laws of attraction are applicable in everything that we do. And we talked about voice. And by the way, I'm sorry, my voice today is not as beautiful as I wish it were, but I'm doing my best. One of the more amazing things is everybody has this capacity to smile. And I find that, a smile, if you go up to anyone in the world, right, it is just universal, and you show them a smile, they will immediately feel an attraction to you. If people look at you with a smile, you'll immediately, your eyes will open up, you'll start focusing on them just because they have a smile. The difference between a smile and a frown is the difference between being attractive and not being attractive. It's free, it's easy to do. You should try to do it all the time. If people don't focus on you, maybe they have a big smile, but they're just looking off into the distance and they're not really focusing on what you're saying, it appears quite impolite, quite rude, unfocused. If you smile and you focus on somebody and you look into their eyes, that deep feeling that you can give to them will automatically make them feel you have an attraction, and will likewise make them feel attracted to you. So I have an amazing story. I happen to be teaching this class about a year ago, and there were two women who came in to the training late, and I just happened to look over at them, and I'm thinking about this subject, and I found one of them. I thought, okay, they're both nice ladies. One appears very attractive. Later on, I had the opportunity to talk to them, and I said, oh, I noticed you came in a little bit late, and I started talking to them. The woman that I found attractive initially wasn't very focused and didn't show much of an interest. And the woman who I didn't initially have an attraction showed a definite interest in me in a physical way, to show this focus, to show the smile. And I immediately found the person who smiled at me, the person who focused on me, to be more attractive. And I thought, this is truly amazing. My perception of people, even though I initially had a perception of their attractiveness, was totally changed by the fact that one woman had a smile and showed an interest in me. And of course, then I showed an interest in that person. And then that person showed more of an interest in me. So the more interest you show in another person, mostly they're going to reciprocate and show you an interest back. Okay. There's nothing worse, and you will hear this, than people who are egocentric, who want to talk about themselves. So if you want to be attractive to others, you want to get them talking about themselves. I'm sure we've all heard this rule before, but I think a lot of people just don't focus on this. It's so easy when people say something, you know, what are your hobbies? And you need to make sure you keep it short. Oh, my hobbies, I like to climb mountains and music. What about you? I'm interested in what are your hobbies? This showing of interest through a polite conversation, not taking up all the air in the room, is so important to showing another person that an attractive side, and people love talking about themselves. Humor is very interesting because it turns out women are attracted to men who make them laugh, and men are attracted to women who laugh at their jokes. So similarly, in some ways, we have attractions about the same thing, like in a conversation, making sure that we give the other person space to talk. But when it comes to things like humor, in fact, it's different. I don't think there's anyone in the world who enjoys a person who is stressful in a relationship. And so one of the keys we need to do, even if we're experiencing stress, we need to take some time, we need to do some meditation, we need to do some breathing exercises and not make the other person feel stressful. Stress is the anti-attractive drug of the world. Amazingly, showing kindness, if men show kindness to other people, women will be more attracted to them, probably because it shows that they are good at taking care of others, just as they need to be good at taking care of their offspring. Mirroring is the concept of making sure that the way we interact with other people is on a similar level that they have. So if I am very excited about some subject, but the other person isn't very excited about that subject, I may make them feel overwhelmed. It's too much. So I have to kind of match my level of enthusiasm. My level of interest can be greater, but can't be too much more. If we exceed that level and we don't sufficiently mirror, then we may make the other person feel uncomfortable, which may mean that person who doesn't match us in terms of our personalities, the way they're acting, that person just may not be right for us. We may just not have found the right match, because to be frank, not all matches are the correct matches. And then it's shown that people who have friends are more attractive to others. So if I see a woman and that woman has friends, I'm going to find her more attractive. Likewise, she will see me with friends, she'll think I'm more attractive. Confidence is very important. We don't want somebody who lacks confidence, but confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance, people find unattractive. So confidence is great, arrogance, bad. So there's a scale, and there's a scale almost for everything that we will have, everything that I've gone through before, like kindness, like friends, which I just mentioned, like confidence. A certain amount is healthy, and then beyond that, it's not good. It's like everything in life. We need to have a good balance. showing appreciation for other people, for the person that we care about, is going to help us maintain and build that relationship. And I have here a thank you. And it's very meaningful because I have a friend in Fort Myers, Florida. And for 1 year, he went and bought a card for his wife and wrote a love note in the card. For 1 year, he would write to his wife and bring her home a card that said why he loved her. I thought that was the most beautiful, romantic gesture I had ever heard of. I thought it was amazing. He was my friend. I knew his wife. I thought they would last forever. They divorced. So nothing is perfect, but I think the times that they had together and the efforts that he put in were really important for the relationship while it lasted. But just showing appreciation, every once in a while, even you're having a terrible day, you've got to stop and you've got to say, look, we may be having an argument right now. We may be having a bad day, but let me tell you all the things that I'm thankful for in our relationship. It's so important to remember to tell people all the time because that can so easily get lost. Empathy is Empathy is the ability to show people that you can appreciate, not that you understand, but you can appreciate that they're going through difficulties. People always have conflict. You need to manage those conflicts. It's very important to make sure that you don't argue in the wrong way. But of course, that's a whole nother course. And then, to be honest, like I said before, there is going to be, your limerence is going to disappear. And at some point, your relationship is going to go into some sort of emotional decline. Now, emotional decline in terms of there being this romantic feeling, but it can evolve into something else. As I said, it's so important to understand that that's just nature. Okay, we're getting close to the end of our time. I just want to run through this quickly because I'd like to take a few questions. Everybody has their own personality. There's the DISC scale, which, and many, many other scales. I like to look at it like this, where we have a DISC is like a general, a happy guy, a team player, and somebody who's in the back room. It's really great for understanding more about who we are, how we interact, how other people are. And if you're in a relationship and you want to improve your relationship, taking some sort of psychometric profiling test can be very beneficial. There's many of them. DISC is just one of them. I'm going to end with this. Do opposites attract? Does anyone have a theory about this? Anyone want to tell me, do opposites attract?
I can share. I think they do if I want to become this opposite side. For example, I can be attracted to somebody who trains a lot and I don't train, for example. Or I can be attracted to somebody who is thin if I am not.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So the answer is, so there's a difference between the initial attraction and later attraction, right? Whether you will continue to be attracted to this person. So usually opposites don't attract. Just as a general rule, opposites don't attract. And then in the long term, you're going to find, oh my gosh, we have such core differences in the way we feel and value things in life. So in fact, we're just not right for each other. But there is a difference between opposites attract and having different values and complementary skills. So, for example, if I and my girlfriend or spouse, we like traveling, that's a fundamental core value. But if we both are good at driving and nobody's good at navigating, then we don't have those complementary skills. Something that will help us become stronger is if I'm good at driving and my girlfriend is good at navigating, or I'm good at navigating and my girlfriend is good at driving. So these complementary skills work really well together, and it's a great way for us to acknowledge that the other person has done, oh, you've done a great job. You know, it really can help us bond more together. So I think I always heard that from when I was young, you know, do opposites attract, and I think it's fascinating to know the answer is no, they don't. Psychological studies have shown this. So finally, I just want to ask, does anyone have what do you see? Just tell me your emotional feeling in terms of attraction just to this picture, if anyone would share. Maybe I'll ask a guy, a male, to share, because we had some wonderful sharings.
I would share, Mike, but I'm a little confused. I see a couple of pretty girls, but I see someone wearing a red shirt behind them.
You're attracted to the guy in the red shirt?
Come on, man. Gentleman Jay, he might like to share.
Okay,
I would
Jay.
like to say, oh, sorry.
Go
I was going to say that the front, even though out of focus, the big smile definitely is outstanding, or stands out more.
Great. Lisa's answered the question. Thank you so much. You know, as I said before, I really wanted to end with this, that a smile makes such a huge difference in whether we're perceived as attractive. I mean, there's many things. I've gone through a variety of factors, both appearance, the things that we can do to change our appearance. But the simplest thing that we can start with, all of us, is just a smile, looking at people. And so I leave you with that. If you want to change one thing in your life, smile more, be kinder to people.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live, free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.